Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to another edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge. We got lots of stuff coming up today. We're going to be talking cybercrime and protecting yourself as an owner-operator. This is a big problem in the industry, and we certainly want to make sure that you kind of have an idea of what you should be doing. Before we get to that, though, let me tell you a little bit about Bison Transport. Did you know they're looking for owner-operators right now? That's right, and they've got some serious benefits to becoming an owner-operator. If you're looking for fuel savings, 15 to 22 cents off the retail price if you're in Canada, 35 to 77 off the retail price if you're in the U.S. That saves you $3,000 a year. If you're looking for steady miles, if you're looking for benefits and savings on your maintenance, then Bison is where you need to be. You know what? They're looking for people right now. They're really looking for people that are owner-operator teams and singles. So if you are that, go to bisondriving.com and check that out. I know you're going to love it there. Their drivers and their owner-operators do very well. You will not be disappointed. All right, let's get into our session for today.
Be sure to share the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
All right, so I'm part of the Fleet Safety Council, which you guys know, and recently they had I guess they had a presentation. They have a presentation with every meeting I go to, and I thought this one was very clear. Now, this one is more technology-based, but it is really, if you're an owner-operator, especially in today's world, because especially if you're a single truck owner-operator, double truck owner-operator, something like that, you are probably using things like apps and stuff to get the job done. You're probably getting your loads. Maybe you're invoicing through apps. You know, there's lots of apps that do all that stuff, certainly as far as trip planning and all that. And I'm not saying don't use them. You should use them. You certainly want to save yourself a lot of time doing that. But with all the good comes with the bad. And this was Jason Stitt. He's with IT Force here in Canada. You can go to itforce.ca. He actually helps people, figure out their system. So if that's somewhere you need help. But he came up with so many really, really good ways of kind of protecting yourself. And he says, he was telling us, now I didn't realize this, but he's telling us, first of all, his big thing is, if it's a pain in the arse for you, it is a pain in the arse for the criminals. So as much as we hate all that multi-factor authentication and all that kind of stuff, it actually, you want it there, because if it's a pain for you, it's going to be even more of a pain. Criminals are looking for easy ends, right? So he was saying that was a big thing, but he says there's different type of hackers. Now, I didn't realize this. There's state hackers, there's hacktivists, and then there's white hacks. Okay, so what they do is, the state hackers are people that are looking to break into government systems, big companies, all that kind of stuff. These are what they call state hackers. Hacktivists are people who are just trying to take advantage of somebody personally, maybe yourselves. You know, these are all the phishing emails you get and all that kind of stuff. That's what a hacktivist is. Or maybe they're not trying to take advantage of you, but they're trying to get you to be part of their cause. Now, if there's an election going on, it might be government hackers too. But he was saying that a lot of times it is, they're looking to get you onto their cause, whatever that might be, good or bad. And so they would call them hacktivists. And then there's white hacks. Now, white hackers are actually good. They're hackers that break into different systems to show you where your problems are. Okay, I mean, it's like hiring the criminal. Show us what we're doing wrong. How did you get into the bank? You know, that's what we want to know. So this is where they are. So I didn't realize there was three of them. I didn't realize there was those kind of levels, you know, but in the hacking world, if you're someone who's into all of that stuff, then that's, you know, we hear all of it together on the news or on socials or wherever you get your information. But he was saying that that's some of the three attacks. So what are the type of attack types? So there's the urgent message. So these are the things you need to look out for when you're getting messages through your apps, through your system, through your email, whatever it might be. There's the urgent message, right? These are what we call phishing. They're looking for credentials. So, hey, you know what? Click on this link. You know, you got 24 hours and then this is gone and all these. A lot of that is marketing stuff as well. But in this world, in this area, it's about getting credentials, hoping you'll click on something so they can gain your information. Then there's the impersonators. All right. So these are people who will actually hack an account and they're looking for information and they're going to sell the information. You see a lot of these big companies that have been hacked. This is what they're looking for. You've probably seen the impersonations. If you've gotten any emails from your bank or anybody like that, this is a thing. And then there's the financial bank ones. Okay, so this is one actually is where they want you to change your bank account. So they're impersonating your bank. So you click on a link and then they get the information and they have access to your account. We've heard lots of this. And of course, I'm not going to get into all the other ones, but there's the loved ones, if you're on those kind of websites or dating websites or whatever, then there's all kinds of others. I'll leave that alone. But that's about where we sit right there. So you want to make sure that you at least understand those. And basically he was saying, here's the defense he was saying. Actually, I'm going to get to the defense in a minute. Yeah, he was telling us there's a couple ways you can defend yourself. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you about a company called RS2000 Tax Services, who I can verify are real people because I deal with them here in Ontario, Canada. They are a real people. So if you're looking for tax help, especially if you're an owner-operator, then these are the guys to call. If you're in Ontario, Canada, they will come to you. They're just west of London, Ontario. But they have representatives all over the province. They come to you. We use them ourselves. I can really tell you they really know their stuff. And they deal in trucking and farming. So rs2000tax.com is where you need to go. Reach out to them. Then they will reach out to you. All right, when we come back, I'm going to tell you how you could possibly defend yourself.
By far my favorite station.
You're the best. Oh, yeah.
I love you guys.
All right, there you go. So now I'm going to share with you possibly how you can protect yourself. If there is a protection for this, this is very, very hard to do. And it's bringing us back to the human aspect. And now with AI, I got to say, it's going to get even worse, folks. So you really need to so he came up with so here's his basic thing for defending yourself. He said, step outside the technology with a personal contact. So if someone reaches out to you, and you've probably seen this, right? I think we've all seen this. I remember the first time I got one of these, where someone goes by email or message or something like that and says, hey, I've been arrested. I need money for bail. Can you send over $6,000? I was on holidays and blah, 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 blah. I had one of these happen way back before I kind of even started getting into this stuff, and I didn't realize what it was. And it turns out that it was so somebody they were an organizer for a truck show, and we had gotten close over the years, but they're not my personal friend. Like, I wouldn't be their first call if there's an emergency. But we knew them and, had good relationships over the time and stuff like that. Anyway, she reached out to me by email and said, you know what, I was traveling in England. I've got problems. I need you to send $6,000. Now, there's certain people in your life that you will reach out to if you need money. And there's others that you will, and it won't be somebody who attended a truck show, every year. It will be hopefully your family or maybe some good friends or whatever. So he was saying, before you send any money, reach out to somebody, a personal contact, and say, is this a real thing? As far as updates, putting two-factor authentication on things, check for breaches. He said there's a website that is, and I don't think I have this right, so I'm not going to say it. But anyway, you can reach out to them. Go to itforce.ca if you want to see. There's a website where you can actually put this in, and it'll tell you if there's been any breaches. You'll see this in your Apple, if you work with Apple, I've got iPhones and stuff, you will see it in your passwords and stuff. You will see where, hey, this has been part of a breach or whatever. You want to go and clean those up. A lot of the scams involve grandparents, kids in trouble, the CRA, RRS, is it RRS in the States? And then overpayment or romance scams. So these are some of the ways that they attack you so to get you. They want you to get you, to where you're upset and you go, oh my gosh, my grandmother's in trouble. I need to go and help her, and you're not thinking. Okay, those are probably a couple of the big ones there. Then he says there's the bank identification attack. So be very careful. Set up transaction alerts in your bank if you can. And then he said the best thing is to use a security email only for your financial items, right? So if you have finance stuff, do a separate email that you don't give out to anybody, and that is your financial email, okay? So that's a good one there. Use password vaults. So like your app on your phone, has passwords. It stores the passwords, so you don't have to. So you're using strong passwords. Use that one. He said if you're using your cell phone to pay, how many of you do this? Especially you drivers going into different, paying for fuel and stuff like that. He says, should you use tap or PIN versus a mobile phone? This was a question that he asked. And he said, use credit cards whenever possible, never debit cards. And he said, use a tap or PIN versus mobile phone. So he was saying you're better off to use the tap or PIN by holding your thing as opposed to using your mobile phone, because mobile phone people can swipe it as they walk by you. So if you keep a credit card or something in there, that might be a thing. If something comes up, he says, have a family password. This is something I need to do with our family. Have something that only you and your family would know, that you ask a question. If that person doesn't know that password or that answer, then they're not real. Okay. And he said his thing was IRL, in real life. So again, if this person is somebody that you would deal with in real life and you know who it is, it's one thing. He said, always check. If you would not deal with somebody online that you've never dealt with before, don't start dealing with them now. And then he says there is things that you can do as far as your credit. You can put a credit freeze on. You can do this in certain areas where it protects your credit rating. I'm going to say for AI, I'm listening to a lot of stuff about AI right now, and I could tell you AI is going to be a problem for a lot, because not only now, you get the emails and stuff like that, and you remember it started with the spelling mistakes. You could tell spelling, and then you knew it was no good, and then it went on to something else. But AI is getting very good now, and with voice impressions and now people impressions, all that kind of stuff. You need to be very, very careful. So setting up some of this stuff, if you're an owner operator and your wife is, if it's like a business like ours where my wife is involved in the business, she handles the admin and stuff like that. And if you're working together, so you're both getting information from outside, and you're just trying to keep things alive, or you're on the road driving and you're not getting the calls, maybe your partner is getting the calls or whatever. Setting up some of this stuff is really important. It may not seem that important, but it's becoming more and more important. It's one thing on a personal level, it's another thing on a business level, and you want to make sure you have that. So keep an eye on that stuff, check it out, and then make sure that you follow up on some of these tips, and you can do that. Again, you can go to itforce.ca. That's where he had some recommendations. You can reach out to Jason and see what he's going to do. He's in Canada here. I don't know if they do things over the border or not, but wherever you are, maybe look into that in your local area as well, because you certainly don't want to get scammed by any of these things. So hopefully that was some good tips for you right there. Hey, before we go, let me tell you a little bit about Driver Check. That's right. They've got they've got a Fitness for Duty Summit every year. They have all kinds of resources. If you're somebody who's in HR and if you're an owner-operator, you are HR. I hate to say it. So you might want to keep up to date on some of the drug and alcohol testing regulations, that kind of stuff. They work with the clearinghouse, all of that. So go to drivercheck.ca for all that information. All right, my friends. Hey, thanks for listening. Be good out there. Be safe. Have a great holiday season. And, protect yourself for 2025, 2026, because things are not getting any better.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.